Your muscles changed after 60, but nobody told you the protein rules changed too. The amount of protein that kept you healthy at 35 may quietly be failing you today. Many adults over 60 aren't eating too little food, they're eating too little protein for the body they have now. I thought this was about muscle, but it turned out to be about something that frightened me much more. And I'll show you what I found out in a few minutes. If you had to be honest with yourself, how many grams of protein did you actually eat yesterday? I'm Steven. I'm 62 and retired. Both my parents had Alzheimer's, so I research everything I can to stay healthy after 60. Any change that might help me stay stronger, protect my brain, and remain independent, that gets my attention. Nobody plans on ending up in a nursing home, that's for sure. But the path there doesn't start with a sudden event. It starts with a quiet loss of muscle mass. And once that muscle drops, your balance, your strength, your confidence all begin to decline. I know this. I watched both my parents lose their independence. And that's why I don't think about muscle as looking stronger anymore. I think about staying in my own home. A single fall is a leading cause of injury related death for people our age. Think about that. And here's a stat that scared me. Research shows a hip fracture in your 70s is associated with a 20 to 30% mortality rate within the first year. Those numbers really hit home. Your muscles are your physical armor. If muscle protects our independence, then why are so many of us quietly losing it? It was at that point I thought this was only about staying out of a nursing home. I had no idea where the research was about to take me. I assumed the answer was simply to eat more protein, but I was wrong. Researchers, they have a name for this, anabolic resistance, but don't worry about the name. Just remember this, your muscles became harder to impress. At 30, your muscles responded quickly to protein. Over 60, they're just harder to convince. The amount of protein that was enough for you at 35 may actually be too little for the body you have today. And for many older adults, while 20 grams might stimulate a younger person, we often need 30 to 40 grams in a single meal to produce the same result. The rules changed, but nobody told us. Do you think eating chicken once a day is enough? Because I did, and I was wrong. Then I discovered I wasn't even making my biggest mistake yet. It wasn't how much protein I was eating, it was when. That was the biggest mistake I was making every single day. I now call this the morning protein gap. You can save money in a bank. You can't save yesterday's protein. Every morning you wake up basically with an empty account. So think of protein as having like an ignition switch for muscle repair. Certain amino acids help flip that switch, but older muscles, they need a much louder knock on the door before they will respond. When I counted my own protein, I was shocked. I thought I was eating well. Oatmeal, some fish, some meat, salads, but I wasn't even close. If you counted yesterday's protein honestly, would you be surprised like I was? And then I found the paper that completely changed why I eat protein. For weeks, I thought this was simply a muscle story. Then one evening, I opened a review paper, and one sentence made me stop reading. A systematic review involving nearly 5,000 older adults found that while overall thinking results were mixed, every single study, specifically looking at memory, found an association between higher protein intake and better memory performance. That's when I realized this wasn't just another muscle story. My muscles, they help keep me out of a nursing home, but my brain is the part of me I never want to lose. When I read that review, I stopped thinking about protein as something for the gym. I started thinking about it as another piece of protecting my future brain. I don't treat that as proof, but I also don't ignore signals like that. The surprising part, I didn't double my protein. I just changed one simple habit instead. I stopped asking, did I eat protein today? And started asking, did every meal give my muscles a reason to stay? I now distribute my protein more evenly, roughly 30 to 40, I guess roughly to 30 to 40 grams per meal, about that, anyways. And I added 5 grams of creatine, kind of as a backup battery. I can't change how old I am, and neither can you, but I can stop feeding a 62-year-old body like it's still 35. I finally basically realized my muscles weren't failing me, they had simply become harder to impress. Your muscles don't know how old you feel, they only know whether you gave them a reason to stay. I started this journey because I wanted stronger muscles. I stayed on it because I realized I was trying to protect the person looking back at me in the mirror 20 years from now. I don't know if eating more protein will prevent Alzheimer's. Nobody can promise that. But if something may help me stay stronger, stay independent, and possibly support my memory, that's a change I'm willing to make. The muscles help carry me through life, but my brain tells me who I am. I want to protect both. Every meal is another small deposit into that independence account. Now, every week I'm researching another piece of the puzzle of staying mentally sharp and independent after 60. If you'd like to follow that journey with me, I'd love to have you here. So, as I said earlier, your muscles don't know how old you feel. They only know whether you gave them a reason to stay. Next week, I ignored my hearing after 60. I didn't know it could also affect my brain. Don't just get older, get better. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.